The off-season is supposed to be a quiet few months for the league office and the AFL clubs, but barely over a month into it, 3 AFL teams have been in the spotlight, and all for different off and on-field reasons. The most bizarre of the stories was the now infamous GWS Wacky Wednesday. This was just plain weird in so many ways. It's unclear where the initial complaint came from, but it wasn't a regular person going for a beer on a Wednesday due to the event being private. Even the function before it was normal, with GWS players, coaches and staff attending. The wacky part was held after. Now the privacy issue is a little disturbing, especially if an employee at the venue accessed the CCTV footage and then made a report to the AFL. I'm not guaranteeing this did happen, but CCTV was a part of the investigation. According to Channel 7, it was even a crucial part of the league's findings. Clearly somebody told on the Giants players. Then there are the actions of those Giants players. Comedy is like beauty, it's in the eye of the beholder, but even people who like more edgy humour surely would have found the acts part of the evening a bit bizarre. Okay, getting dressed up as controversial couples might have some humour, but to act out the 9/11 attacks and sexual assaults is really weird, and to quote Andrew Dillon himself, is completely unacceptable and totally at odds with the club's values and code's values. Again, we all get this was a private event, and some might say it's just boys being boys, but with all the training for appropriate behaviour and social awareness these guys get, the acts of these Giants players was crazy. It got so bizarre that the AFL didn't even know what to do with the enacted slavery scene from Django Unchained performed by Lockie Whitfield and Connor Iden. The complexities of the situation both got them off with a $5,000 fine each, but each of them could have easily gotten suspended. Toby Green and CEO Dave Matthews apologised after the punishments were handed out, and it concluded one of the strangest off-season incidents we've seen for a while. There might be some awkwardness between the men's playing group and the AFLW team when the two overlap in the future, but hopefully for the Giants' sake, all is forgiven and this story is forgotten very quickly. It wouldn't be a turmoil type of video without the Melbourne Football Club, but it seems like things are on the up and up. Maybe. The air is being cleared at the club, and it was recently announced CEO Gary Pert will step down. The Age reported club great Stephen Smith will also join the board in an effort to get the club stable. Pert, who is now famous for his best culture I've ever seen remark, did lead the club in their 2021 premiership season, and overall spent 6 years in the CEO role. He is the latest person to leave, following on from President Kate Roffey, who was replaced by former Melbourne player Brad Green. Green is leading a review on the board, while former New Zealand All Blacks manager Darren Shand led a review into the football department. Out of that review came player support for coach Simon Goodwin, although acknowledgement he needed greater support around him. The review also suggested multiple tweaks to roles in the football department, as well as an ongoing support and shift in focus for Alan Richardson, who was the club's high performance manager. A great insight into the recent struggles at the club came through Captain Max Gawn. He did a podcast with the Empowering Leaders, and it was recorded on Brownlow Medal Day. In relation to Christian Petrarca's trade request, he said, "The latest stuff with track, it's worn me down, and I don't like that because I feel like I have always been able to handle it, but it's starting to wear me down." The ongoing leaks and media back and forths also mentally challenged Gawn. "I know what's happening in the four walls, but you are never going to trust that with regular spot fires. It's been a delicate little time." As of recording this, the general noise around Petrarca has cooled down, and Clayton Oliver, who did reportedly want to join Geelong in the trade period, has seemed to be on his best behaviour. There is still some awkwardness between all the parties involved, and even Petrarca's answer to more questions around culture was less than convincing.
And you're happy with the culture at the club?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I think for me,
I mean, culture is an interesting word, I think. It's a high-performance industry, and for me, we're always trying to improve and get better. And I think for me, getting good people through the door is the right thing.
Melbourne fans can breathe easy right now that their two superstars are staying put and that the current administration is making change. Time will tell if the changes pay off. The investigation into Joel Smith, who tested positive for cocaine on game day, is also over. The same can be said for his career. The AFL slapped him with a monster 4-year ban for breaching 5 anti-doping rules. He can't play organised Australian rules football at any level in this period of time. 3 of the 5 violations related to trafficking or attempting to traffic cocaine. None of the people he messaged or attempted to traffic drugs to were named, and they also avoided any punishment. It's a huge warning to all AFL players and shows how quickly a career can slip away. The final of the 3 clubs is North Melbourne. Some of their fans and those in high-profile media spots question the club's reported decision to sell 2 home games per year to Fremantle and West Coast. It was called out as a shocking decision, and in a competition that is close, it may prove to be a competitive disadvantage. But looking more closely at the details, where do the negatives outbalance the big positives? North Melbourne fans in Tasmania, specifically Hobart, will miss out on 2 games in 2025 and a further 4 games over the 3-year deal, but we'll still get to see North Melbourne at least twice. For the club, it's just moving 2 of those 4 Bloodstone Arena games out to Perth, where the Kangas have a decent fan base, as seen in their previous few trips to Optus Stadium. It also provides a gradual removal of the club's ties in the state as they prepare to bring in the Devils. If we look at 2024, North Melbourne went 0-4 at Bloodstone Arena, which is now called Ninja Stadium, 1-3 in 2023, and 0-4 in 2022. They aren't getting any competitive advantage in Tasmania on the field. Financially, it will provide up to $2 million per year, netting the club an extra $6 million overall. There are still some complications after 2025 when it is expected North will vacate Hobart, and if other AFL clubs will pick up the 2 fixtures left in Ninja Stadium. It seems as if in 2026 and beyond, the total of 4 home games North used to play in Tassie will be split into 2 more home matches at Marvel and 2 at Optus Oval. Since 2022, North Melbourne have played 4 games at Optus Oval and have a split record of 2 wins and 2 losses, playing Freo and West Coast 2 times each. On face value, selling their home games might seem a bit strange, but a lot of the factors make it a great deal for the club.